Ladies and gentlemen, Abdullah here from Freedom for All. Today, I want to discuss something very basic, which is about understanding your true self. In many communities, I have seen people saying things like, I am the creator of my reality, I am God, everything is bending in my will, it's all just me, only I am real, rest others are puppets, etc. etc. I want to tell you, when you think this way, it's your ego trying to play the role of God. Ego may be classified in various ways, but I'll mention two major types of them. One is the old undesirable part of self that obsesses humans, obsessing with the things like the unpleasant past, falling for the identity that does not represent the desired version is an example of this type of ego. Another is the bigger one, which is forgetting the true existence of self or falsifying self. When someone alone claims to be real as a human, considering others as puppets, then that person is falsifying self in the name of God. As a result, that person isn't able to overcome the human barriers because that person is considering human self as the infinite power, which entirely comes from will, not imagination. Speaking about that, Neville said, when will and imagination are in conflict, imagination invariably wins. Will represents your ego, and imagination obviously represents God. I remember I read somewhere the word ego means eating God out. I think the more egoistic we become, the more we are detached from our true existence, which is God. So it is important to disidentify self from these egos. The meaning of I am is bigger than what we identify with thoughts, physical states, mental states, emotions, physical sensations, etc. I'll try to give some examples here. If you look at your thoughts, you are the watcher of your thoughts. You are not the thoughts. Then, if you change your name, you're no longer the being with the name, so you aren't your name either. You're some being carrying the name. If your physical state changes because of dieting or overeating or for no reason, it is not permanent, which means you're experiencing different states of physical health. Similarly, your mental state changes too. It is not same always. You're a being experiencing different states psychologically. Therefore, it is not permanent either. So in all these examples, there is a gap between the being you are and the states or human identity. You're like an observer in all these cases. When Neville said I am, he meant the divine being that is free of ego and these human identities. Speaking about that, Neville said, I am is a feeling of permanent awareness. The very center of consciousness is the feeling of I am. I may forget who I am, where I am, what I am, but I cannot forget that I am. The awareness of being remains, regardless of the degrees of forgetfulness of who, where, and what I am. This means I am involves your pure, unbiased consciousness that you always are beyond your physical state, mental state, thoughts, and other human identities. Speaking about I am, Neville also said, the name is simply I am. It's not Neville. It's not John Brown. It's not Mary Smith. It's not any name outside of I am. That's God and its infinite might. The identity of I am is permanent no matter what you keep experiencing as a human being. You may experience different states, but this identity of I am remains forever. Neville said, you're an eternal being moving through states. Similarly, Rumi beautifully said, you don't live on earth, you're passing through it. You are the being experiencing states after states. These states don't live forever, but the being that you are beyond your human self, that is eternal. That is unearthly and beyond time and space. That is the being you are. That is the creator. Yes, you are that creator. We all are. But it does not represent our human self or our appearances as human or our human identities. There's a beautiful quote of Rumi about it. He said, you are a little world by appearance, but in reality, you are a great world. Yes, you are the great world in reality, and that is beyond your ego. I may have explained two types of egos earlier, but I think there is one other type of ego, which is a good ego. This ego involves the state of happiness, gratitude, serenity, tranquility, and peacefulness. This type of ego helps a person figure out two other types of egos and eradicate them. This helps a person know self. There is a saying, the one who knows self knows his Lord. So, this type of ego helps a person prevail over bad egos. It helps a person find the light and overcome the undesirable self. Like Rumi beautifully said, once you conquer your selfish self, all your darkness changes to light. The light is actually there, and you are that light. But you consciously or unconsciously may have created some barriers to practically accept who you really are. Rumi also said, your task is not to seek for love, but to merely find all the barriers you have built against it. You are the love, the infinite love, but somehow you built barriers against it unknowingly. So just explore self with your heart instead of rational mind. When you have a goal, make sure it is your goal. Having an undefined or unclear goal is pointless. When the goal is defined, get the feeling of what it would be like if it were true, not from the ego, not from the state of neediness. Have faith in the infinite being within you, the actual creator of the reality. Lastly, I will say your true self, which you know as I am, has something to do with knowing and believing rather than bragging. You can never meet anyone bigger than yourself if you really know who you really are. But this is not something to analyze or to judge with human mind. Using your rational mind, you may understand the deep topics of spirituality, but to experience them or to properly experience the imaginative life, you should be free of your conscious mind as much as you can. Remember, you are both human and infinite. Remember the saying, I am that I am.